We are playing infantry-only Hurtgen, which is going to be very, very strange considering how much we see armor crews have a good impact here on Scar. No truck snipes, no recon tanks to splash the enemy from a distance, no luxes, just infantry. Let's see how this goes. 4th point is Jacob's Barn, 5th point is Grossau Approach. It's nice and quiet, no artillery either. We do have rockets though. One truck does get stuck. Oh, somebody got their truck stuck. Let's take a look. Did they? Oh, wedged it. Oh, no. Damn. That truck ain't going nowhere. We will have a lot of rockets, though, across the river. Look at that. I got a nice little pseudo-artillery here going off. Do have a little bit of frame rate stuttering on Hurtgen. I noticed that, like, I think it was for the Taco LGN Championship back in TPL. We did have the frame rate issues. I don't think we have it on the PC side, just on the console world. Anyways, Raspberries making their way up to the hard cap. Americans typically have the opening cap advantage. However, without any vehicles, I don't know. Tex, deep easy. Tex goes inside the truck. Kicks him outside, inside the bunker. Opening map position check. Axis up here to the north very heavily. They've made it down. This is, very unusual. They're not usually able to make it down this far. Usually they're stuck behind around this line here because the tanks and artillery are holding them back pretty well. But in this case, nope. They're able to make it here just fine. But for those of you just joining me, I'm your host today, Smithers. Here to bring you this infantry-only matchup for Wednesday Means War. Gonna be a lot quieter than usual, with no tanks and artillery. Gonna be spending a lot more time on the front line, that's for sure. 4th point is the ruins here for the Allies. But they're spreading up north and south pretty quick, pretty decently. And the first camp goes to the Allies, going up 3-2. It's just really quiet. I don't know what else to make of this. It's just really quiet. Can just hear the sound of rifles going off in the distance. Jesus Christ dies in the water, ironically. Jemiel donning the Louis Vuitton white suit today. Oh, that's kind of a little flop there we would expect from somebody donning the LV. Rocket knocks out the MG42. We do have one MG up to the very top, Serhi. At the very, 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 very top. Helios comes around the corner. Gets this kaboom. Going for number 2. Gets number 2. Mount Carillon able to cancel out the push. It's so quiet we can hear the birds chirping. Rarely do I have that opportunity. Carillon gets one right there in the bunker. Mufasa Val Tutu reloads real quick. Mooey man was able to just nice little frag served to him on a silver platter. Andreas Jankar, Louis, joining us here today. Oh, Andreas Jankar, not for too much longer. Easy frags. Map situation looks solid. Spread north to south for both sides. Supply truck going around the rear for Medipatai. Commanding today for the Axis Isabella Danger. My Godlock Oxlong burns that outpost. Libby going for the Garrison. Shrimpton, unfortunately, does not hear it get locked, and Libby will get a Garrison takedown. Libby gets shot in the back, but doesn't mind it. Got the Garrison. Rocket from Grunt goes right over the head of Mufasa. And that's the thing about infantry-only events is that the Garys have a much less, are much less likely to get taken out from a distance, and gives the commanders a little sigh of relief as they don't have to worry about a tank randomly splashing back here. As the only vehicles we see roll around the map are these supply trucks. Tinian takes one out there to the distance. Lincoln slowly approaching the bunker. Gonna have a whole bunch of blueberries to deal with here. Hurtgen's inside. Hockey over to the left. Lincoln, oh, steps on a mine. Oh, just when he was about to get inside. Cap Parker stalls for the access. I think we have some AT guns being built. That's the thing. We're going to have a whole bunch of resources for both of the sides. Should see plenty of half-tracks. AT guns being built. This will be the temporary form of artillery here. Cadaver up here with his own little AT gun. Takes a shot right there in the left cankle. Oh, no. Another one comes right to the head. Cadaver will be sent back to the redeploy screen temporarily. Bombing run coming in from the Allies, but it looks like it's going to be just beyond here. Supply truck from 10. Looking to drop a few more boxes to build some more AT guns, no doubt. Bombing run on its way. Let's go take a look. Lincoln has some supporting buddies now, but do have Hurtgen defending. Counter bombing run from the Axis right to the back of the Scar. Should be able to get that Garrison at least. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Without any vehicles or anything, you just kind of look at it and know that vehicles, that artillery. You kind of just got to comment to go, oh, well, infantry should just focus on winning their gunfights. There's no vehicles to support them, no crashing of tanks or Pumas going around with people in the back line. It's just, oh, yep, okay, infantry just got to focus on winning their gunfights here, and they should be able to capture it. Now, the Garrison did get taken out, but they do have some outposts still. Remember, for those new players, that bombing runs do not destroy outposts. Only destroy garrisons and airheads. MG fire coming from across the river still. Zelino up top. Sarah Heat down below. Zelino holding fire. Andreas Janker. Lying low in the bushes. Hurtgen. Oh, MG rounds come in from Zwerg. Zwerg here with a lethal MG42 angle. Must be on the very, very edge, is he not? Oh, yeah, he's on the very edge of the map. Zwerg able to watch all the little movements there amongst the trees. Andreas Janker coming back down. Let's go see if Zwerg's able to pick up on him again. Now, Andreas Janker may be a little bit too hard to see here. Zwerg may not have the angle necessary. Oh, but hold on. Yeah, gets Andreas Janker again. Oh, MGs, man. Skilled and looking in the distance for those little tiny pixel movements. Always like Hurtgen from just like a scenery standpoint. Nice parsement of trees. You got this nice valley in between. Always makes, and then plus obviously all these trenches and bunkers. Always makes for an interesting battle. All these little moving parts throughout. As opposed to maps like SME, SMDM, where you know, like all the, okay, you have these hedges, you got to capture these buildings, that kind of thing. You got to hold this way. In Hurtgen, there's all these little, just, the maps with all these different elevation changes. Kind of like Hill 400. Just everything is always shifting and moving up and down. Which increases the ability for things to change pretty quickly, although as opposed to Hill 400, like, or as opposed to Hill 400, Hurtgen, unfortunately, has a lot more open space where you can cover from one single position. Shijin, Roach tossing a grenade down the little hill there. Cug holds back. Oh, nice toss. That was pretty lethal. Almost landed near Bear. Bear's safe, though. Map's situation still looks very solid. Have a few blueberries moving down to the south, but I don't think they're going to make it too far. Raspberries holding strong. All the garrisons look perfect. Not too sure if we're going to see any backline air attempts for the Allies. Maybe over here in H5, H6. Just to test out the enemy's defensive responses. Jedmiel. In this map, you just gotta take it slow. Take it nice and slow. Oh, shoot me on shot to the left from Shijin. Fabian. Axis have gotten it close a few times, but just been forced out. Allies have a decent amount of gunfire around from across the river. See how many MGs we have on the screen. We have 1. We have Atrim. Damsey, Aziz 3, Serhi 4, and Zelino 5. 5 MGs across the river. Pouring on that fire. Not allowing the blueberries much wiggle room on their side. Aziz with a nice comfy spot up here. Can we get a good POV? I'm just kind of curious if POV's jacked up or not. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look too good. Can't be able to zoom out like this, though. Z's may be able to get Libby and Weed over there to the opposite side. Vergs finding a little different spot. Oh, just able to spray and pray, man. Just try to get lucky with a couple shots. Never know what you might hit. Just waiting for those little hit marker sounds. Getting a good vantage point up at the very top of this bunker. And the Allies have made some ground down to the south that's going to allow them to potentially flank around over here. But then again, they got a good chunk of raspberries allocated towards the middle. North is holding just fine. Do you have an AT gun up there to support? But this part, if they can exploit here, then, hey, we could see a nice wrap along the entire G column, potentially. Cap Parker's still coming in for the Axis. Ten will just continue looking down here. Mostly going to go for the border and check out that garrison spot. Corey also slipping through this gap. Stoney, he goes to the side window. He's able to get that shot. He goes Roach in the bunker. Shabo. Will burst Aaron, Ice Temple Monkey out there to the distance. Nope. Shabo. Oh, more daddy. More daddy. Oh, I thought he was going to pull out the shovel, but no shovel. Almost would like to see maybe the Allies or Axis take a Jeep and just keep dropping ammo crates along the border and develop some sort of rocket artillery units. It'd be funny if I think the Allies had a little bit elevation advantage here, but to have a whole bunch of Rocketeers just pumping out rocket after rocket from the opposite side is sort of like a pseudo-artillery. That would be kind of interesting. Commander keeps dropping ammo drops, of course. Do have one half-track, two half-tracks to the backline for the Allies. Don't see any Axis half-tracks, though. Sitting at 2,300 fuel, of course. 1,000 munitions. Or, well, 950 now. Helios. Gun down in the back. Oh, can't withstand all the rounds from Zelino. There were a lot of bullets coming his way. There were a lot. More raspberries come here down near this garrison, but the blueberries holding strong still. Another bombing run called in towards Scar. So be going straight north to south. The garrison looks like they did... Oh, we'll get the northern garrison, actually. It's right on the border of that one. So that garrison is right here somewhere, everybody. Right in front of us that I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is. Okay. And it's going to go through. Get 1, get 2, get 3. And 4, 5, 4 and 5. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. And the blueberries will be able to push on forward a little bit. Neos comes over here in the trenches. Neos, grenade in hand. Oh, no. Oh, it's the top of it. Oh, got to step back a little bit. Neos will hold. Waiting to see if any enemies are going to inspect why the grenades just went off over here. Nobody's coming for Neos, I guess. Neo's still holding. Fabian. Gonna decide to push. Oh, takes a shot on the left shoulder. Gonna take a second to bandage. Vatinian down below. Vatinian is gonna see Neos. Be like, hey buddy, you've been here a while. Can you get to work? You gotta earn that paycheck. Vatinian pokes behind. Fabian. Oh, Fabian doesn't stand a chance. Vatinian goes on through. Thinking about a satchel, maybe. Puts a satchel down. Okay. Zelino coming a little bit closer. Does Zelino see it? May have. Yeah, I think Zelino sees it. Grenade gets tossed. Will grenade explode the satchel? Oh, grenade actually goes much farther than the satchel. Satchel still cooking. About one more second. No, it does get him. It does get a little triple. Zelino probably thought, hey, I think I'm far enough away. Nope, you are not. Neos. Danger rush. Danger rush. Wins the 1v1. Skender. Kug wipes out the outpost over to the right. Does Kug wait 3 seconds? Kind of, sorta. Couldn't judge from my angle that well. Go follow Kug real quick. Blueberries did get some cap weight, but the raspberries a little bit too much here. LeHay. Nope. If the blueberries can win these couple gunfights as the raspberries try to get into the circle, they could stand a chance at capping this. Just barely. Now the outpost does get placed in a pretty dicey spot. George of the Honkle is going to see that outpost most likely. Yep, gums up. Chews that away like a snack. Keep on going forward here. George, think about placing an outpost for himself. Here we go. All the raspberries will join him for a little bit of celebration as they cleared everything out of Scar, and they'll continue pushing westward. Strafering comes up to the front line as well. And the Allies have been doing a damn good job of just holding this perimeter, not really allowing too much. Every time the Axis have gotten close to getting some good cap weight on him, they would have pushed him right back out. For those of you just joining me, I'm your host today, Smithers, for this infantry-only event. So I didn't rarely host these. These aren't very common in the Helios community. There were a few back in the day, but they kind of died down pretty quickly just because, I mean, Helios, you think about it, you think of the tanks, the artillery, or all the different types of tanks roaming about, making game-changing plays, that kind of dynamic warfare. But this is just something they like to play around with once in a while. And there's no artillery as well. No artillery, no tanks, so it's a lot quieter than you're probably used to. So just keep that in mind when you're watching. Infantry, it's more focusing on these infantry just dueling it out with one each other. Focusing on, or practicing their skills. About the closest thing we're going to see to artillery today is the commander bombing runs. Or, of course, when a rocketeer gets a little urge for the whole, or sending some rockets over to the enemy's way. Now, I was thinking about it earlier, if they just suddenly started to drop a whole bunch of ammo boxes around, and then we start to see some artillery, or some artillery in the version of a whole bunch of rockets heading their way. General Kiyobo. George of the Honkle. Still alive here. We've been alive. It's very rare that we get to see a raspberry or a blueberry alive this long on a map, especially on a map like this with so much openness. You're so exposed to the enemy that you wouldn't expect this to work out for so long. But George of the Honkle here proving that he is not a statistic. Throughout the decades of experience he has in Helios, been able to refine his craft and learn how to live a little bit longer. How he is dealing with... No! No, I jinxed George of the Honkle. Let's go get a POV of Jesus Christ. No, we will not. Hurtgen wants nothing to do with him. Strafer coming into the back line. I think I did get one. Yeah, strafing runs are one of those things where it's just tough. Let's go get POV of Montcodion. Yeah, see, Montcodion can just stay here and observe amongst the trees. Oh, Major Hardpecker. Oh, able to sink Major Hardpecker. Maybe DPZ as well. Montcodion. Not able to... You know, just the smallest of tweaks to the shots can mean oh so much. It's crazy to think of me throughout all my Helios competitive games. Bombing run coming out in front of them. That'll be the Allied bombing run looking to soften up the attack from the Axis. But yeah, throughout all the different matches I've casted and the games I've played, it's so crazy to think about a little miss shot here, a rocket ricochet over there, and all that adding up to just changing the entire game. I mean, it's kind of wild sometimes when you think about it. Like, I've seen plays on streams, man, where if it goes, this one little rocket goes the other way, Major Hardpecker, you know, throwing some solid grenades over there to the opposite. Axis are 50% cap. No one's in the circle yet. But they're... Oh, Major Hardpecker not able to get through there. General IQ ball. Eesh. What's a general doing on the front line? Your question is as good as mine. General IQ ball throwing some grenades here. Cap progress stalls. Oh, General Q ball. Oh, just tries a little swing there, making sure he's still got it. You know, some of these older players, when they get to that age, sometimes, I mean, I think from the last I heard, General IQ ball is pushing 70 from what I understand, but sometimes arthritis is so bad for some of these players that when they go to reach for their shovel, they can't do it. And that's why you see on stream some players, they go to reach for their shovel in their pocket, and they just can't pull it out. Like, their hand just stops. And the other player is easily able to take advantage of that. And so General IQ ball may be suffering from severe arthritis. And when you see the players do that, they're just taking out that shovel to make sure to say, hey, can I still swing this? Do I still got it? And that way he's able to have a little bit of extra confidence just in case the enemy comes close to him. And that's what you saw there. He just did give a good swing right there. But it's, you know, it hurts for him, obviously, the arthritis and everything. But able to at least practice just in case it happens. And that's why, you know, just in case some of you are wondering why you see players do that sometimes. It's not just like they randomly press that button and their shovel comes out. No, it's for a reason. Got some grenades being tossed here by Mentiox. You notice how Mentiox's throw was a little bit straighter. You know, some players like Mentiox, they don't have as good of flexibility as other players, because other players, you'll see them give like a wind-up toss, like they, you know, former athletes play this game, so you'll see them throw it like a baseball or a football, American football, that is, and that's when you know like what kind of skill set you're dealing with. So Mentiox it was a good straight toss, but doesn't look like he did any stretching before the match. That's why the grenade didn't go as far as probably he was hoping for. You know, there's all different types of physical skill sets when it comes to Hell Others. You know, you mean, people just think it's about mouse clicks and keyboard smashing, but there's a lot more to it than that. There really is. I mean, there's players of all different shapes and sizes play this matchup, play this game. Blue Raspberries holding strong, though. Every single time the Axis have gotten a little bit cap weight, man, they've thrown them back on out. So kudos to the allies. Constantly responding to the enemy presence. Karam goes up against Cadaver. Nope, Cadaver lying low. Karam has a scoped Car 98, so it's going to be a little bit tricky. Oh, no, pulls out the pistol. Okay. Ready to go at a moment's notice. And you see how quickly Karen was able to pull that out. Those are players that actually practice that. You know, there's some players that go to these gun ranges and they say, hey, I'm not here to shoot a machine gun or a M16 or anything. I'm just here to practice my quick draw. So they'll spend hours at these gun ranges in the Netherlands, Belgium, France, England. And they'll just work on their quick draw so that when they come time for game time, they'll be ready to go, man. They don't mess around. Karam. Trying to sink those shots in between the trees. Much luck though. We'll let Karam be. Some players can get nervous on camera, and we don't want Karam to send us some nasty mail about the camera hovering right above his head, because the camera has that loud fan next to it, and when players hear that, they go, oh my god, Smithers is above me right now, I really don't need this, really. And they hear the boom mic as well, because the boom mic has to obviously come down or else we won't be able to pick up what they're saying. It's a whole process, everybody. I mean, think of the NFL and the cameras that go across the field. Kind of like that. It looks going up against a 1 versus 4, potentially danger rush. Oh, 1. It looks 2. Oh, okay. Just take 2, though. Just take 2. Transport truck coming around the back. Looks like we have 1 SL. Lord Vissameister looking to make some plays back there. And that's the other thing, too, remember, is that we do have royalty playing this game. So in this case, Lord Vissameister is here with us today. And remember, European nations take the royalty symbols like Lord, Sir, Prince very seriously. And if they get even a small hint that there are people out there pretending to have these before their name, these titles, they will place lawsuits. I mean, there's been players in held to lose suits for millions of dollars if they weren't actually an anointed knight, a lord, or anything like that, if they don't remove it from their name. So in this case, we know for sure that this is actually a lord, and that there's no playing around, because they don't want to get sued for millions. The European countries are extremely serious about that. Now, we don't know if Lord Vissameister owns a manor or has knights as part of his castle, because most lords in England, I think, or in Europe, still own castles, from my understanding. But that's just from what I've read in my American history books. That's kind of crazy, but you know, they want to stick with tradition over there. It's just they want their castles, they want their knights, they have to defend their lands. It's pretty. They don't mess around. You know, I mean, sometimes it's really hard to break traditions in Europe. It really is. But we all know one thing: history books don't lie. And so that's the only thing I have to go off of. Hood. Oh, Stony. Rhubarb holding out here in the building. Mine placed right there, Celino. Hold on, we gotta see if the mine works though. Celino? Helix waits to see if he goes for it. Okay, we'll give Helix. Precision strike falls in the next one. Oh, it does take out Helix. Oh my gosh, and the satchel's gonna go off as well. Danger rush, danger rush, danger rush. Oh no, won't be able to hit the mine. Journal IQ bump. We may see him practice with a shovel yet again, just in case. He knows the player's near and doesn't want his arthritic hands to fail him now. Let's take a look. IQ bump. Holds. Nope. Fabian. Waiting there. Jacob's Barn, still fine and dandy. 41 minutes left to go, everybody. Ham Frank down below with the sniper. I think this has to be one of the best knives for being a sniper. I mean, you just find yourself a good tree. Look for movement out there like Ham Frank is. Skender up to the very, very top. Doesn't look like Ham Frank's gonna release the trigger. Nope, gonna hold it. Any more half tracks? We do have the 2 from the allies here. Nothing from the Axis though, unless they've been destroyed, of course, which is very likely. Jacob's Barn still okay. And if you're enjoying the stream, be sure to take a second and hit that like button if you could, please. If you're interested in competitive Helios and want to join events like these, then you can always check out my Discord, the SmithersCast Discord, in the video description. You can join as a console or PC recruit. Or if you just want to be a casual member, that's fine too. Hockey, gonna go here behind the Garrison and get ready to dismantle it just fine and dandy. There we go. Nope, this is a long dismantle, actually. It's right beyond the border. Remember, these garrisons take a minute to dismantle as opposed to the frontline ones, which I think are something like 5 seconds or something like that. So, obviously, Hockey just taking the time. No strafing run on the way from the commander, although the half-track is over here to the west. Hockey... Oh, Shabo comes up and puts an end to that. Shabo saves the Gary. Nice job, buddy. And the Scar facing a little bit more heat than usual. We're over 50% cap now. Let's go check out the Scar. And Yox, Danger Rush, Bear, all coming back to the circle. Deep Easy coming up top, though. Deep Easy coming around. Oh, takes out one, though. Him and Sergeant Bear exchange shots. You know, this bunker right here is a very famous bunker in Helios. I'll tell you a little story. There was a match in the PC world, I think it was 3 years ago now, between the Greyhounds and DC. Some of the very best teams in the PC world. The match was down to the final 5 minutes. The Allies were facing a whole bunch of pressure from... Well, actually, I think it was like maybe 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes or something like that. Anyways, the Allies were facing a whole bunch of pressure. They had a little bit of a screen outside of Scar just to prevent the Axis from pushing on in. There was a whole bunch of explosions, da-da-da-da-da-da. And the Allies said, you know what? We're going to do it. So what they did is they brought in, I think, maybe 15 people, and they stacked them inside this bunker. Now, this bunker is right inside the circle, as you can see here. It's like 15 or 20 people. I forgot how much they were able to fit in just this bunker, in both of those rooms and down the alleyway as well, or down the road, or down the hallway. And so they stacked all those people inside the bunker. And well, artillery was falling around, all that kind of good stuff, and the enemy was just not able to cap it. It was just pure circle cap weight at that point. Pretty crazy, but there was I mean, if a satchel would have went off, it would have gotten a massive amount of frags, obviously, but just wasn't enough. So many good memes were made out of it, though. But yeah, that's sort of an emergency measure for teams to just stack maybe... I mean, worst case scenario, just... If you want to just play super conservative, just put maybe 5 or 6 bodies in here in the last couple of minutes of a game. Just so you can guarantee yourself some more circle camp weight. Maybe plant some mines on the outside just in case the enemy tries to get in. Or if you want to get really fancy, you could probably even put some barbed wire around it. Like on a screen of barbed wire. And so if the enemy tries to jump down, they'll just land on the barbed wire and they won't be able to get to the bunker. And a lot of interesting ideas you can have. Moo Man deciding to put a satchel down, maybe? Nope, nothing for Moo Man. MG from Joker. The Axis, once again, I keep saying it, but just get forced out. Allies not having it today. Heidi, taking some shots from the left. Oh. The silent headshot. Lechuchu gets him down with the pistol. Lechuchu will come over here. No mines. All clear of mines. All good to go. Stony. Stony gonna check the trench. That's the thing, is that once you jump beyond the hedge or the trench, you're just so exposed to the enemy. So exposed. Stoner also doing, or Stoney doing also a good job of staying alive here. Rockets from Danger Rush barely past a couple blueberries. By each point, by this point of the map, oh, Danger Rush. Catch a cookie. Oh, no. They stop him. Is he OP? Oh, the Garrison's right there. Okay. Allies have this Garrison right down to the south. No pressure on Jacob's Barn, though. Waiting for an SL or two to rush to the east. And just start to probe the area. So far, the Blueberries are doing a good job of barely holding on. But this is a pretty aggressive Allied Garrison. MG action from Joker Tige. Leo, 2K, getting closer to the trench system here. Throwing some grenades. Oh, some smoke grenades, actually. Leo and Stana gonna go in. Oh, Red, able to intercept him right before the smoke starts to puff up a little bit more. Red! Oh, Leo! Oh. Another bomber run on its way. Over the hard cap it goes. Gonna take out that northern garrison yet again. Southern Garrison, though, was a little bit too far away. I don't think you can get two garrisons with one bombing run. Don't think that's... I don't know, is that possible? If the bombing run's placed there... I don't think so, because I don't think the bombing run can reach from one grid square to the end of it. Yeah, I don't think that's possible. I never thought about that, though. Can a bombing run get two garrisons with at the same time? With them, can you knock out two garrisons with one bombing run? Don't think that's possible. Don't think it is. Interesting. Because the bombing run, I think it's maybe 170 meters long or something like that. Yeah, I don't think it's possible. But let me know if you disagree in chat. Georgia Hanko Gemiel down below. Under 30 minutes left to go, everybody. Been a nice, quiet stream. Ventiox. Zozo going through the smoke here. Nope. Major Pecker, Hard Pecker. Takes that one to the rear. Recon OP to the west side, but for the most part, I mean, the Axis really haven't been able to get anything over there. The southern part is maybe the closest they've gotten, or the deepest. Still some raspberries to help hold that back. Camp progress will start again, but every single time we think it's going somewhere, it ends up just diminishing. Batinian gonna go up against a good chunk of raspberries in just a moment. Batinian finds a nice little safe spot. Oh, no, not gonna go for the safe spot. Jumps up, frags danger rush. This is the same danger spot they always approach with us. Oh no, Batinian! Oh, does reload in time. Batinian goes through, checks her mines, frags another. Burns the outpost. Doesn't really have time to wait 3 seconds, so just gonna plant the satchel and get out. Satchel's placed. Batinian gets 2 more. A little bit of a frag streak here for Batinian. Gonna continue moving through the trenches. Batinian burns another outpost. That's maybe number 6 or 7. Oh, hold on, 5s. Oh, Batinian, buddy. Oh, another outpost. Oh, man, that had been like, what was that? 8 frags? 8 or 9 frags in a row for Batinian. 4 outposts, I believe? 3 or 4 outposts? Mamma mia. Batinian with a nice little run here in the midst of all the trenches. Batinian with those outposts. The Garrison's still alive, though. They got to take out that Garrison. Garrison is really close to me here. Where's the Garrison at, everybody? Where is it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Oh, you have an outpost. Oh, actually, there's no Garrison up here. It's just the outpost. Or maybe it was taken out. The nearest Garrison is up... Oh, there it is. I'm hallucinating. There it is, right there. So it's over here. Down below us. Right there. Okay, there's the Garrison. You know, sometimes on the map, it's just so hard to see. Nice big raspberry wave comes forward. They should be able to cancel out this cap weight. And yet again, the Allies will begin to cap this back. Oh, hate to see it. Bombing run on its way, going from west to east. Allied commander just looking to soften up this pressure a little bit. Raspberries still haven't started capping this back yet, but there's another big wave. And there we go, okay. But maybe the blueberries have a good angle on it now? Possibly? Doggy. These raspberry waves have been taken out one after another. Oh, shnikes. We could see a little flip on Scar. Almost there. 98, 99. And there we go. The Axis cap it. Oh my gosh. I didn't think it was going to happen. Another big raspberry chunk. But man, the blueberries have just been smoking them left and right. Damn. Nice play here by the Allies, or the Axis. Plane flies above. Can be a supply or airhead over here in the middle of the Scar. Andres Yankar still over here on the very map edge. Kind of curious if Zverg is haunting, is going to be a part of his nightmares tonight. I don't know how many times Zverg has been able to take out Andres Yankar, but no doubt. We've seen at least a few. And now Andreas is forced to the ground, afraid of Zverg spotting him. I'll just continue to lie low. Notice how Andreas Yankar, his body is adapting, and his lower thighs are able to press through that hard, compact dirt because of that fear inside of him. You know, some players, they're able to physically adapt like that. And in this case, Andreas Jankar's fear response sends muscle growth, or maybe a huge testosterone boost, specifically to focus around his legs. So every player has their own type of fear response, and that's Andreas Jankar's. We've seen the thigh the thigh muscular strength fear response does happen amongst other players, though. I mean, I have seen it before, and it happened on snow maps. In this case, in the middle of Hurtgen. But some players' thighs swell up 4 or 5 times. Andreas Yankar waits 3 seconds. Look at that. Nice job, buddy. There you go. Sehr gut, sehr gut. Very good. Figish comes up to support. Says nice thighs to Andreas Yankar, and Andreas Yankar will continue on. And now, of course, his thighs will go back to normal size, and as the fear receptors are slowly starting to diminish. Figish. Here's Sverg up at the top. See how Figish approaches Sverg. Nope. Figish holds. Waiting for Sverg to fire again. Go get a POV of Sverg. Looking for his new favorite rock. You know, players will often name their rocks over the course of matches like this. MGers, specifically when they're dedicated to certain spots. Some players will find a rock and they will name it, and they will become friends with it as they find themselves becoming best friends. And sort of like the, you know, it's like a blueberry that they never had. Sverg lies low. Shrimpton coming over to the right side. Shrimpton! Oh, takes him out with Nice shot to the back of the neck. Beautiful. Hurtgen waits. You know he has blueberry moving around, or raspberry moving around him. Shrimpton is going to hear the squishy footsteps. Oh, no, and a shot comes from somewhere else. From Ed and Cedric. And Sveg is back with the support lowdown. Most likely ordered to do so by Ed and Cedric under the threat of being court-martialed. Southern part looks fine, but yeah, the Axis. If you're just joining me, I'm your host today, Smithers, for this infantry-only event. No tanks, no artillery, just infantry here on Hurtgen. With Scar as the middle point. So far, we have seen 2 captures. First going to the Allies, and then to the Axis. All over Scar. And you'll notice how it's much quieter than usual, as infantry-only events are very rare in Helios. We do hear the sound of MGs, though, go off. We have Captain Cookie up here to the top. Now, Cookie does not identify as any specific cookie, it looks like. Just a cookie. Whether cookie is chocolate chip, macadamia nut, a simple sugar cookie, we do not know. All it says is Captain Cookie. Captain Cookie will have to let us know. Oh, no. Oh, Genome IQ ball. Goes over to the right side there. But yeah, Captain Cookie, non-denominational cookie. Just a cookie. It lets you leave it up to your imagination as to what kind of cookie you want him to be. Now, me, personally, I would love... I mean, there's something about just a very solid chocolate chip cookie. Like a good... Like a chocolate chip cookie. There's a place near me that makes these delicious chocolate chip cookies that are... They have a mix of white chocolate chips and dark chocolate chips. And they are... Oh my gosh. So good. Solar gets rocketed by La Havre. Or La Haye. Over right down below us. But yeah, it's like a nice mix of dark chocolate chips, and there's some white chocolate chips, and then it's not, it's one of those, you know how it comes to sweets, it's not overly sweet, and it's not too little sweet. What's the word? Can't think of the phrase I'm looking for, but it's just the perfect amount of sweetness, which makes it oh so delicious. It really is. I mean, it's... And if you happen to get one later in the day, because they're freshly baked in the morning, but if you happen to get one later in the day, then you just put that puppy in the... what am I trying to think of? The air fryer. Put it in there for about maybe, gosh, 30 seconds. Oh my gosh. It tastes so freaking good, man. You like split it apart. It's ooey and gooey. And you just sit there and enjoy a nice chocolate chip cookie. Glass of milk, of course, optional. But yeah, it's just big enough where you feel slightly like a fat ass. But not too much. Not to the part where you feel disgusting, but just like, that was a big caloric hit. Now, granted, if you want to, so that's a traditional chocolate chip cookie. But if you want to go a little bit further into it, then you want to get a little bit on the wild side. Then you can start talking about s'mores type cookies. You get a little bit of marshmallow in there. You can always go that route. It's very delicious. Cinnamon roll cookies are also very good. Cinnamon rolls in general can be oh so delicious. Just I think that's probably my gosh. I mean, it'd be a tough between a good chocolate chip cookie and a good cinnamon roll. I don't know what I would go with. It'd be a tough one. Yeah, like if I was at a restaurant and I just had myself a nice steak and they said, "Sir, would you like dessert?" I would go, "Oof. What do you got?" And they go, "Well, we have our in-house chocolate chip cookies with chocolate chips and white chocolate chips. It'll make you feel a little bit gross, but not too gross. Or we have our cinnamon rolls, which are fresh out of the oven. A nice gooey cinnamon cream texture. Cinnamon glaze on top." Then I would go, "Ooh, man, how fat will that make me feel?" And they go, "Slightly fat. A little bit more than the chocolate chip cookie." And I go, "Meesh, damn. That'd be a tough one to decide. I maybe even flip a coin for that one. Probably go with the cinnamon roll. Because I feel like a chocolate chip cookie you want to eat standing up, whereas a cinnamon roll you would want to eat standing down. But maybe that's a hot take. Then I had to admit that I did spend some time in Austria, and I went to what's the castle? I forget the name of the castle now, but there's a castle near Salzburg where you can learn how to make Apfelstrudel. And I learned how to make Apfelstrudel. I went there twice, actually. And had some delicious apple strudel. Get a little bit of vanilla ice cream on top. Man. Those are the kind of things that you should never try to make with yourself, though. Because if you make it with just yourself, you're going to eat the whole damn thing. You won't be able to stop. But yeah, rolling the dough. I've made it 3 times. Twice. I think I've made it twice. Apple strudel. Each time, oh, so good. The trick is you have the raisins, or from what they told me what I learned at the castle, but you soak the raisins that you use in the apple strudel. I use raisins in mine. That's from the recipe. You soak the raisins in rum overnight. You soak the raisins in there, and then they get a nice, unique flavor added to it. Oh, so delicious. Map situation has changed a little bit. We got the Allies pushing from the south, just a smidgen. But they're going to be sort of stuck across the river. Remember, there's no artillery or tank support. Infantry just have to run down these tall... these hillsides. Got a couple MGs to offer, Luchuchu. Not much for Luchuchu, though. A T-gun by Sergeant Bronze. Pointing all the way down the hillside. Oh. Oh, shit. And that's not Shijin, that's Barnett. Let's go take a look at the poll. The HL developers should add friendly enemy proxy chat, add the King Tiger Pershing, incentivize Gary building more, or add a paratrooper ability. So that's one that I thought of. I think it'd be super cool. Like if you're... I think that's what they're going to... I mean, that's... Because in Vietnam, it's going to be a very interesting... Ah, gosh, because obviously the Vietnamese didn't have helicopters like we did. And... like, how do you offset... like, how... because you got to nerf the helicopters somehow. Because I could see that being super OP in the beginning. I think that's one of the abilities that they're going to just say, okay, let's just test this out. Let's see how this works. And we'll adjust from there. Because I don't think you're going to be able to have the helicopters, whatever ability they come out with, that's not going to be perfect for the first rip. It's just not. That's going to be probably one of the most heavily modified things about Vietnam. It'll be super modified. But in Hella Loose, you could shake things up and say, Okay, we're going to use the paratrooper ability. It costs us, let's say, 600 manpower, so it's spicy or heavy. You reduce the airhead cost to 300, and you add a paratrooper ability for 600 manpower. Now, how that works exactly, you could let's just dream for a moment. A C-47 or a Junkers Ju-52 appears, or the team. Okay, how about this? Not appears, but the squad selected for that ability. So the commander on the map will look for that. The squad to send for the paratrooper ability. So let's say it's Able. They click on Able, and Able is immediately put in like a transport aircraft, C-47, Ju-52, and the commander designates where he wants the plane to fly over. The players are in there. They have to jump out. If they don't jump out, they die. And then they are falling to the ground, and obviously the enemy's going to see that, or should hear the plane, and they're going to be able to respond to it. But the difference is between the airhead is that you're not waiting for a spawn. The enemy, you're already falling to the ground. I could see that being a potential. Yeah, I could see it potentially being something else. Now the drop time, I don't know what the drop time would be, because obviously you don't want to give too much, or else the enemy will just shoot you out of the sky. But you don't want to give too little, because then you have no chance to really intercept them. Be an interesting thing to experiment with. But like I said, it'd be more expensive than that airhead. And you could, but they got night maps would be lethal. Or like on deep plane maps like Hurtgen or Hill 400. I could see that being super cool. I'm going to add that to my Hell Let Loose crazy ideas list. We have a bombing run coming in. Bombing run airhead combo over here to the back. Red was there. Airhead will be alive. Let's see if anybody gets his airhead. Now the allies at this point, they can pretty much commit everything over to this. They're not worried about map control with 7 minutes left to go. Hawkeye. Hockey spawns in. Hockey goes the other way. Does it know about the airhead? King Yavik comes down below. Spawn wave. Grenades go off, but the airhead's still up and ready. Major Hardpecker. General IQ ball on the opposite side. 6 minutes, 30 seconds. Oh! That one was a good nade. Damn. I thought we were going to see one more big wave, but Lord Vistameister over here to the back. Satchel goes off. Strike. Way into the bunker. Allies have gotten across the river, actually, so maybe the airhead was a good little chance here. Five minutes, 30 seconds left. But then, I mean, it's just part of Hella Loose and trying to think of different ways to shake up, just add different things to make teams think dynamically, or to force teams to think in new ways. Shake up the battlefield. I think that's what the developers should. I mean, well, that's one of the main goals. Should be constantly think of those ideas to constantly just keep teams on edge and having to change their strategies. Make games have surprises. I mean, it's a game after all. Now, the part that I don't know how to fix, I don't know if there's a way, because then you're really disrupting the game main core. But if you were to what are ways to, I mean, if you have a team that doesn't have as good fragging ability as another team. Let's say it's a Div 1 or say Div 2 versus a Div 5 team. Is there a way to give the Div 5 team a little bit better chance than usual without making too big of a handicap to the Div 2 team? You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, at the base core of the game, you don't want to discount a player's skill set as far as them being a much better shooter than the enemy, right? It's got to be a little fine line there between differences you give. Because I could see like something like a momentum modifiers within the game to say, oh, this team has the momentum right now, or they have like a plus 10% cap speed or something like that. I don't know. These are things I like to think about, just to help keep things interesting. And maybe, who knows, give some ideas to the developers, too. They go, oh, yeah, we could potentially work with them. But you don't want to make it too gamey. I mean, there's a fine line between adding some cool modifiers and then making it too much like Fortnite and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, you want this strategy and stuff to really be the anchor to this game. Once again, just pie in the sky, talking out loud ideas. I think the pair job ability. Oh, General IQ Ball with the flamethrower there to the back. So General IQ Ball for the flamethrower action back here. Let's take a look right now. Second is add friendly enemy proxy chat. Yes, this is one thing that I think I see requests for the most, or one of the things I see most requested. Is the ability to, when you're like in a building, right? The enemy's up to the top floor, you're down to the bottom. And you just, I mean, from a streamer standpoint, it'd be very interesting to hear what players say. As far as, especially the Aussie players. Oh, yeah, mate. What are you doing up there? Come on down here, bloke. Oh, I'm playing for sheep stations tonight. And they go back and forth like that. You get to hear like how aggressive they get with their commentary. General Q Ball still patrolling around with the flamethrower here. And General IQ Ball will do some nice celebration flames as the Axis will take home the 3-2 victory. Yeah, pretty straightforward game, everybody. I mean, once again, lot less chaotic than usual. General IQ Ball just, it's gonna be a hefty bill here for the Axis after the game. We all know how expensive fuel is in Germany, but we have yeah, just 2 caps so far today for this infantry only event, and the victory will go to the Axis. As far as other streams go, don't have anything else today. Probably going to just take the rest of today off from streaming, that is. But tomorrow and Friday and Saturday, so I got a whole bunch of stuff that'll be going on. Most likely, tomorrow will be the ESPT pub stream. That'll be happening on the PC side. So for those of you who know, ESPT is a team on the PC competitive role. But I'll be on their public server tomorrow, starting around 4 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll be going on through the night and see what kind of shenanigans we run into. So be sure to tune into that. And then before that, we're going to have a mixed PC comp stream as well, between a whole different PC teams, mostly German teams, but there'll be some other teams as well. That'll be for Friday afternoon, then we'll roll into the public stream afterwards. After that, I think that'll be it for Friday. Maybe. We'll see. But Saturday, of course, we're going to have more matches. We'll be figuring out finalizing the schedule today and tomorrow to get those posted. But remember, if you're interested, you can always check out my Discord in the video description. And if you have any questions, go drop a comment below. And I'll see you, buddies, in the next one. Go give commends to the commander real quick. A Bell of Danger coming in today. There we go. Alrighty, buddy. Well, thank you for joining me. And I will see you next time. Have a good one, buddy.